The legends tell of an item, so great and so iconic that it's still talked about to this day, even though it's been years since its departure from the game. The myth tells of stats of both AD and AP, of extra damage and a slow effect on use, and most importantly, it tells of healing. 15% healing from all damage dealt. Where is this item now? No one knows. Will it ever return? Nothing can be said for certain. All that we can do is remember its history, remember its name. The Hextech Gunblade. Sometimes I like to tell stories about the good old days of League. Mostly because I haven't played the game for that many years, so whenever something old and gone is relevant again that I can relate to, I always clutch at that opportunity. But one thing I do remember from when I first started out is the old items. Vaguely. Now, as we all know, I am not very street smart when it comes to video games, so after having a go at Ezreal for a bit, then Vel'Koz for a much longer bit, then Nico for half an eternity, I was on the prowl for a new champion to play, and I found Akali. Yeah, in the beginning it went about as well as you'd expect. For a very long time. But she was fun, and I enjoyed playing her. Still do, in fact. And for maybe a week or so, I had access to maybe the most missed item in the game, that was then rapidly removed. The Hextech Gunblade. One of the few items, if not the only item back then, that had both AD and AP. An item that provided an extra spell that damaged and slowed an enemy. And in addition to this, it also gave a lifesteal from all damage, even ability damage. A perfect item for Akali. But one day, it was just gone, replaced with a new item system. And I didn't even know what I had lost until after it was gone. And I know, at least it was nice while it lasted, right? At least I got to enjoy it for a little while. Wrong. Well, I mean, yeah, technically I did, but I was a noob back then. This was before I had even learned to use actives on items. I struggled with using Sonias. I was the guy who bought Twin Shadows on Nico and forgot to use it every time! And remember, I sucked at Akali back then. You know, just in general. I played her because I wanted to learn, but that took countless games. And I probably hadn't had a single good Akali game in my life until the Gunblade was already removed. So yeah, I don't really think I can say that I did get to enjoy it while it lasted. I mean, I didn't even realize the significance of its stats until maybe, I don't know, a year later? Because, you know, stat-wise, it looks pretty simple. AD, AP, some healing, an active with damage and slow. Yeah, there are definitely more complicated items. But the combined AD and AP is just so good on some champs. It's far from great on every champion, but champs like Akali have abilities that scale with both stats. The slow is obviously useful when chasing an unsuspecting ADC. Extra burst damage is the assassin motto, and 15% healing? From everything? Who even needs Sonias when you can just live through the fight anyways? Yeah, me. I'd probably still need a Sonias. So why was it even removed? Well, every new season at the start of the year, Riot reworks or builds upon some core part of the game. To keep things fresh, you know? Could be a new jungling system like the recent Pokemons, or could be 2 new dragons, or something else entirely. But a few seasons ago, it was an entire overhaul of the game items. Pretty much all items were replaced or changed with new ones in order to keep the item system, well, fresh. New item art was added for, well, all items I believe. They changed cooldown reduction into ability haste, and the difference is... yeah, I can't remember what the difference is. But, most importantly, choices seem to have been made to remove the Hextech Gunblade from the game, along with a few other items. But that might not have been the end. Other removed items include, for example, the Rod of Ages, Spear of Shojin, and Static Shiv. But, Rod of Ages and Spear of Shojin both saw a return to the game several months ago now. and a new version of Static Shiv was just re-added to the game. So, this begs the question, when is it time for the Gunblade's return? I mean, come on, Riot. You know you want to. People would love it. And when people love something you do, as an extension, their support of your game will grow. I mean, I really think it would make an excellent mythic item. I mean, it's become so iconic that even though I barely got to play with it, I still miss it. Because everyone can't stop shouting up about how fun it was to play with back in the day. There is nothing to be lost here. Well, unless you accidentally make the item broken as hell and as a result once again destroy the meta, making every AP assassin turbo busted. But hey, what is the chance of that ever happening? Yeah, okay, I see the downsides. But I mean, come on, they can just play it a little safer once. If the item sucks at release, just buff it a little bit. And it's totally understandable if some parts of it needs to change from the OG item. As long as it's not overdone. But to be frank, what this all really just comes down to is my lack of time with the item. Since it was removed, Akali has become one of my favorite champs to play in the game. But I feel like all the other Akali mains have this holy grail they can gather around. As if they all meet up secretly to talk about the return of the great messiah. And I just can't relate. I wish I could. God, I wish I could. So, us Akali mains need to unite. And not just us, but the Echo players and Katarina fanboys, Kayle enjoyers, Diana gamers, Jace, Jax, or any other champ with AD and AP scaling. Together, our voices can be heard. Or at least I hope they can. You know, would be kinda nice if they could. So Riot, step it up! When it's time for the next item update, I'll be expecting my Gunblade to arrive. Pretty please.